Pink hoodie, check. Matcha, kind of watered down, check. Books from the last 2 months, check. Welcome or welcome back. If you're new, my name is Kristen and you reached my little corner of the internet. Today we're going to be talking about my January and February reads. I can't believe it's already March. What the heck? I said this in my TBR video. January felt like so long and February did February even happen? I know it's the shortest month of the year, but February didn't even feel like it happened. So yeah, and because it's the shortest month of the year, I only read 5 books in February. And did I say I was going to finish Iron Flame in February? I read 5 books so far this month. I'm on my 6th book right now, and I think I could fit another one in before February's over. I did. Shoot. Well, spoiler, I didn't. So I'm just gonna combine January and February reads because I think I read only a total of like 11 books and one of them was a novella. So we're just gonna sit here and yap about books. So if you like that, grab a drink, get cozy, and let me tell you about what I read in January and February. And my little book journal here. I'm part of the Probably Smut box subscription. Box subscription, whatever. I have my little like notes from each book I read, and this is something new I'm doing in 2025, and so far I really like it. It helps keep all my thoughts in order and keeps me organized on what I want to say about books because half the time I forget about what I read. So, and I know that's a universal experience, don't lie. So yeah, if you see me kind of looking down here, I'm cheating. I'm looking at my notes. So the first book I read in January was Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh, and this is the second book in the Boys of Tommen series. I gave this book 4 stars. I really liked it. This is the second book in Johnny and Shannon's POV, and I just the first book was good. I think I also gave it like 4-ish stars. I really enjoyed this book and how the story kind of continued and wrapped up in their POV. Chloe Walsh's writing is just so addicting to read. I mean, these books they're chunky. They're like 600 pages. The way her writing is able to keep me like enticed the entire book. And I think I finished this in like a couple days, maybe like 2 or 3 days. I will say, I know this series in particular is not everybody's cup of tea. Definitely look up the trigger warnings for this book, especially in Binding 13. I know there's a lot of trigger warnings for that one. These characters kind of remind me of like the deal, like the Off Campus series by Elle Kennedy. There's a lot of found family in this series in terms of like the sports world. This isn't really a spoiler, but like in this book, they don't talk about how small Shannon is all the time. My goodness, in Binding 13 did they, sorry Chloe, but like, girl, we get it. She's tiny, all right, we get it. Thankfully that was kept out a lot in this book. Yeah, 4 stars, solid book. I have Saving Six, which is the first book in Joey and Aoife's point of view, on my TBR for March. So I'm excited to keep the series going, and like I said in my TBR video, I'm very excited for Taming Seven, which is Gibbsy's book. The next book I read was I Did Something Bad by Pei Mo Thet War. I hope I'm saying that right. I've never read a book by this author before, and it came in my Afterlight subscription box. I gave this a 3.75 out of 5. So basically, our female main character, she is a freelance journalist, and she gets approached by Vogue to write a kind of cover story on the male main character, who is an actor, and they are filming a new movie, and he's pretty like secretive about his life. She's basically assigned to him to find like some, not dirt, but like details on his life, like who's he dating, has he had any affairs like with his co-stars or anything like that. So she is working very closely with him, and obviously they catch feelings. One thing leads to another, like our secret's gonna come out. Oh, and there's also like a small little murder mystery aspect to this as well. So I did like that element, trying to figure out exactly like what happens throughout the book. There's a lot of internal monologuing, which is not always my favorite in books. But overall, I really liked the two characters' chemistry. I think she wrote that out very well. But overall, it was a really good book, and the setting was really cool where it took place. I believe it's in Asia. Yeah, they're filming in Yangon. I hope I'm saying that right. This is this author's debut novel, so definitely check it out if you're looking for a new author to read from. The romance is there, little murder mystery, and it's just a solid, good, cozy read, I think. Next, I continued the Brutal Birthright series by Sophie Lark with I think this is the fourth book. This is the fourth book in the Brutal Birthright series called Bloody Heart. This follows the second oldest brother in the Gallo Mafia, and I gave this a 3.75 out of 5. This book, I can't say exactly what trope is in here because it would spoil it, but it's a trope I don't always love to see in books. I feel like it was done all right in this book. There was some weird jumping between back and forth in timelines, and it got a little bit confusing to know where, like, when exactly, like, where I was in the book and in terms of the entire timeline, because some of the book takes place like before the events in the first book in this series. So I was like a little bit confused on like where exactly we were. But if you like Guy Falls First, and Hard, one night stand, and kind of like secrets being kept from each other, and it's a dark mafia romance, definitely check out the Brutal Birthright series. But I think out of all the books I read in this series so far, I think this one is my favorite. I really like Dante as a character. I like seeing him kind of like down bad for Simone. So yeah, 2 more books left in this series, and they're on Kindle Unlimited, so they're just great and easy to pick up anytime. They're not super long, and I feel like they're really fast paced. Another new author for me this month was Megan Quinn. I started this series. I don't know what this series is called. The Kane Brothers? Yeah, the Kane Brothers series. So this is the first book, A Not So Meet Cute. I also gave this a 3.75. I think with my ratings, I'm really strategic on where I place things. It's just sometimes there's just something that it just putting a 4 in front of it just doesn't feel right sometimes. And this book was no exception. We have some fake dating in here, fake engaged, enemies to lovers, Guy Falls First, some miscommunication, which is not always my favorite, and Grumpy Sunshine. So this follows Lottie and Huxley. Lottie's looking for like a rich husband. So because I think she just got laid off by her quote unquote best friend, who's not really her best friend. And Huxley needs a fiance for this deal he's trying to close. He's like a billionaire in real estate or something. So we follow them. So that gives us the fake dating, fake engaged. And like enemies to lovers was kind of thrown in here. Lottie kind of annoyed me for about half the book. There was just so much miscommunication, and like I feel like they were like closed off to each other for no reason. And the chapters are like unnecessarily long. So that's not always my favorite. Actually, it's never my favorite. Why would I say that? That I never like super long chapters. I loved Lottie's best friend in this book. She's so funny. Definitely like comedic relief. I think I knocked it down from that 4 to a 3.75 because of like the long chapters and just Lottie being annoying. So this book in January that I read was Promise of Peridot by Kate Golden. This is the second book in the Sacred Stones trilogy. So the first book is Dawn of Onyx. It is a romantasy, so I do love that. I gave this a 4.25 out of 5. I really enjoyed this book. So Dawn of Onyx follows Arwen, and she's like a special healer, and she is captured by one of the most dangerous kingdoms in the continent in order to save her mom, sister, and brother. She's captured by the Onyx King to heal their soldiers, and of course, the Onyx King is hot. So, so this one is Enemies to Lovers, a romantasy. A Promise of Peridot basically just continues their story. It ends on a really big cliffhanger. I have the third book, Arena Rose, on my TBR for March. So I'm very excited to wrap up this series. This in the second book also it's dual POV. It's only from Arwen's POV in the first book. So that was amazing. It's like a little treat to get the MMC's POV. Yeah, very excited to continue the series. I feel like this is a pretty beginner friendly romantasy if you're just trying to get into fantasy. I feel like this is a good series to start off with. It's told in the first person, very easy to get into, and can't wait to continue the series. Okay, the last book I read in January. I need some matcha before I start talking. If I didn't rate this 5 stars, I think I would be a certified crazy person and would have to be admitted into the hospital. So obviously I gave this 5 stars. If you don't know or live under a rock or I don't know, not read, first of all, why are you watching this video? Subscribe. This is the last book in the Throne of Glass series, Kingdom of Ash. And boy, oh boy, I started this book in October, the end of October, and it took me 2.5 months to read it. You know what? I feel like you're one of two people when you read this series. You either read it all in one go and just binge it the heck out of it, or you treat it like a marathon and read it over 10 months. Me. I read it in 10 months. I was reading about like a book a month with this series. I really took it slow, especially with this last one. Pretty safe to say it put me in a slump after I finished it. There's really not much I can say about this without spoiling it because it's the last book. It's large and emotionally draining, but it's worth it. So if you haven't picked up Throne of Glass by now, I think you definitely should. If you have been in your fantasy journey for a minute and you're looking for a series to absolutely shatter your heart, then pick up Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Okay, that was everything I read in January, so let's get on into February. The first book I read was Mad Love by Willow Astor. Also a new author for me. A lot of new authors for me. Look at me go. New year, new authors. This is a single dad. Yep. Sports romance. Yep. Forced proximity. Just keeps getting better. And not enemies to lovers, but like hate to love. Yup. Oh my God. And it's on Kindle Unlimited? Shut up. Shut up. It doesn't get better than that. And it's fast paced, short, and it was the perfect book to follow the gut wrenching romantasy that was Throne of Glass. So this follows Sadie and Weston. Weston plays on a football team, like the NFL football team in Denver, but it's not called the Broncos. It's like called something else. And Sadie is this is a crazy premise. You're just hit right off the bat. I don't think it's a spoiler. Let me make sure in the summary it's not. So basically something happens where Sadie has to step in and help Weston's son. I did give this a 3.5 out of 5. I know I was really hyping this book up with all the tropes that are in it. But it is like a very straightforward, simple book. There's nothing groundbreaking in here. And it was because it's so short, there's not enough room for emotional buildup between the two characters. I feel like it's kind of just like boom, like you're together now, like here you go. And it felt more physical than emotional, which is why I had to give it a 3.5. But still, it was easy to read. I ate up every single crumb. And I believe this is a series as well. I don't know if I will continue it. Yeah. This quote on the back should really tell you everything you need to know. She's my best friend and I'm madly in love with her. Okay, the next book I read in February was Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli, also a new author for me. The second book just came out, so I'm very excited to get into that one. This is enemies to lovers, best friend's brother, secret identity, fake dating. It's all so good. I gave it a 4.25 out of 5. Essentially, this follows a witch and a witch hunter. So, Rune is a witch after her grandma is like killed in the purging trials of this kingdom. And Gideon is the witch hunter. So, he has to go out and find all the witches. But what he doesn't know is that Rune is the Crimson Moth who is going out and like saving all these witches and helping them flee in the night. And Gideon is trying to catch the witch. Rune puts on this like fake persona that she's just some like duncy, high elite society girl. And Gideon has no idea that it would be Rune. So you're basically just following that. And this book ends on a cliffhanger that I can't wait to get into the second one. I hope it's just as good. It's just a duology, so I'm glad it's gonna be hopefully wrapped up really well in Rebel Witch. This is also really great romantasy if you're looking to get into fantasy novels. Okay, next, I don't have the physical copy because I read it on my Kindle, but I read The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. I love literally when she said that, like, if you have a Kindle and you want early access to this novella, I was like, say less. I will literally buy anything Abby Jimenez touches. Rightfully, I immediately downloaded this onto my Kindle and read it in one sitting. It was only 80 pages and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Only Abby can make a book that's 80 pages feel like a 900-page novel with emotional just romance. Oh my gosh. I literally don't know how she does it. So this follows Charlotte and Seth, and they are apartment neighbors, and it's Valentine's Day weekend. And basically, like the stairs on the second, because they live on the second floor of this apartment, the stairs are like removed, so they have to spend a whole weekend together, um, by themselves. Seth is recently divorced and Charlotte has some like stalker trauma, and somehow I just over a course of a 2-day weekend, like they become my favorite book couple ever. I like how on Abby Jimenez, what are you doing? Teach me your ways, because this is absolute like I can't put I words, sentences, I don't have them. This novella was perfect. It was a great palate cleanser after Heartless Hunter. And only Abba Jimenez can make an 82-page novel feel like a full-length feature film. So I need this to be a full-length feature film. That's what I'm saying. Okay, next I read King of Wrath by Anna Huang. I haven't read anything by Anna since I finished the Twisted series last year. So, and this has been sitting on my TBR cart forever, and I was like, okay, might as well just get into it. It's on Kindle Unlimited. I'll read on my Kindle. I did give it a 4-star. It is arranged marriage, hate to love, touch her and you'll die. This follows Dante and Vivian. Vivian is like part of, she's like new money. Her family like started a jewelry company and like became really successful, and her dad essentially arranges this marriage with Dante because her Vivian's dad wants her to like marry rich and like high society to keep like the family name predominant in society. Oh my gosh, I thought I took forever to read this book, but I took 2 days. Wow, I don't know what that says about the book. I think this billionaire romance hit better than a Not So Mew Cute. I think it just scratched that itch of a billionaire romance, like private jets flying everywhere, like you can have this and that and whatnot. And I'm just reading it like, I wish that were me. But yeah, solid 4 stars, nothing revolutionary. And this is connected to the Twisted series, so it was nice seeing some cameos from some of the characters in that series. But yeah, this definitely satisfied my billionaire craving. Okay, last book I read in February. I have never given a book less than 3 stars. And then I read this. No, this is my channel and I have my own opinions. Let me have them. Okay. This is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. I don't even know where to start with this book. I guess I'll start with my rating. 2.5 stars out of 5. Originally I had it at 3, and then I sat on it for like a day and I was like, yeah, no, that's not correct at all. Why didn't I DNF it, you ask? I will tell you. I have this thing in my brain where if I read a book on my Kindle, I feel like I will like it a little bit more. I don't know what it is. I read on my Kindle and I'm more like attached to the story. I'm like able to concentrate a little bit better than when I'm reading a physical book. So I bought it on my Kindle. First off, this book has been sitting on my TBR cart for I think 2 years. Yeah, 2 years because I wanted to read this before I went to Spain in summer of 2023. So that was a year and a half ish ago. So it's definitely been on there since before then. They were in Spain in this book for like 2 pages. It wasn't 2 pages, but not a very long time when it's called The Spanish Love Deception. I feel like this book had so much potential. I don't know what it was. There were a lot of tropes in here that were kind of done halfway, I feel like. Instead of just sticking to one or two kind of big tropes, there were a lot of tropes just thrown in into the middle of the novel, and you're like, wait, where did that come from? And then it's just kind of left there, and you're like, hold on, we started this trope, where did it go? Like, I don't understand. This book felt like Elena was trying to hit a word count in her college essay because this book went on for way too long. Like, the main girl, okay, I guess I should just tell you what it's about. So this follows Catalina or Lena and Aaron Blackford, and they both work at an engineering company, I think, in New York City, but she is from Spain and she needs a fake boyfriend to her sister's wedding in Spain. Like, and then Lena would just go on and complain about it for like several pages. I'm like, girl, it's not that serious. Like, can we calm down here for a second, please? Yeah, I couldn't. I was skimming some of these internal monologues. Like, no, just no. You're making me sound sane when I'm journaling. That's how she's making me feel right now. This book could have easily been 150 pages shorter, and this is like advertised as like an enemies to lovers, I think. Enemies where? Enemies where? Because it wasn't there. If you're curious about reading it, do it, I guess. I'm selling this on my Pango, linked below. Okay. That was a lot of yapping. Really tried to keep it to a minimum there. I didn't. I'm going to go and try and finish Iron Flame because technically, if I finished it today and February was 31 days long, could have finished it in February. I'm just saying. But yeah, more beauty and books videos to come as always. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, do all the YouTube things. You know what to do. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. All right, I'm gonna go finish Iron Flame. Hope to see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.